for the last 26 years, mentoring many of the students. And her area of interest, and she has been teaching ESL, English as a second language, and ESP, English for specific purposes, and also translation studies. And an amazing person with 700 plus publications, 250 books, 70 countries she has visited and made lectures on, and a peer reviewer, including Scopus Index Journal, recipient of Excellence Awards in Teaching, passionate about technology integration in English teaching, translations, and other kinds of studies. So it is always interesting to present a person just like you fetch a few shells from the sea. You always know that you can never fetch all of them. So with this limited words, I would like to introduce an person with unlimited potential, Professor Reina Al-Jarf, who is going to present a paper titled Strategies for Effective Distance Learning in EFL College Courses During COVID-19. As all of you know, we live in a pandemic situation, and as Derrida has rightly put it, a metaphysics of presence that we all had in the classroom gave way for a virtual presentation. Even I'm sitting at my home and we are all meeting together. It's a kind of a virtual reality. She would be speaking about the concept that 51% of the people who attend classes are not very happy as they were when they were attending the regular classes. I mean, a chalk and talk, or rather a live classroom where teacher was present. And the free platforms, we'll be focusing on some of the free platforms, some of the areas of preparation of material, role of the, I would say the role that is redefined about the teacher, and also the technical support that she would also like to provide. I am very happy to invite for you, all of you, on all behalf of all of you, such a versatile personality, Professor Rima Al-Jarf. Welcome,
Uh,
madam.
Thank you very much for the introduction, and I would
You
like
have
to.
45 minutes for the presentation, and
Okay,
maybe we have
okay,
15 minutes for
okay,
presentation. All the participants are free to post their post. Professor
okay.
Rima, you need to unmute yourself.
Oh, okay. Ooh,
Yeah, you're
where is
muted. Please
unmuted?
unmute yourself.
Ooh.
Yeah. Now it's okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, please go ahead. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much for the introduction, and I would like to thank the KAASH Foundation for inviting me to these sessions. In my lecture today, I'm going to talk about the need for effective distance learning, problems with distance learning, orientation, training, and support, platform selection, infrastructure, online class logistics, instructional techniques and stages, feedback and motivation, online environment and communication, online testing, online course evaluation and review, and the teacher's roles. The need for effective distance teaching and learning. What I did, I conducted a questionnaire survey with a sample of students and instructors at a couple of universities. I asked them questions about their experience with distance education, teaching and learning last semester. About the advantages, the disadvantages, whether they like it, whether they did not, whether they prefer face-to-face or distance learning. I'm not gonna report the positive aspects of distance learning. I'm gonna focus on the problems. Now, 55% of the sample, the students and instructors, they didn't like distance learning. They said it was unsuccessful, it was ineffective, because distance learning was abrupt, no training for students and instructors. It was difficult for students to understand the lectures. It was a lot of hard work because they had classes back to back, like when they are in college. The students said they had problems communicating with instructors, to ask questions, to pose problems. The teacher said there was an attendance problem. The students would appear online, but in reality, they were away. because they could replay the recording of the lecture anytime and as many times as they needed. Whenever they had an exam, some instructors said the students overslept and they either missed the whole final or they missed part of it. And the teacher had to give the students extra time or to give them a chance to take the exam over, because the university administration required instructors to be lenient with the students because it was just something sudden, and it was like an emergency. And only 20% of the total course mark was allocated to the final exam. The teacher said the students were not interested, were not enthusiastic, were not motivated. They didn't do homework. They refused to give oral presentations. They did not ask questions, did not participate in discussions like when they usually do in the classroom face-to-face. The students were worried about exams and passing. You can read about this even on Twitter. They complained about exams, about grades, about marks. Some teachers said online exams were ineffective. They had doubts about whether the students took the test themselves or someone else answered the questions for them. I have one example, like my neighbor's son, he's freshman. He had a problem. He was in jail because of that. And his sisters and brother-in-law, they attended classes for him on his behalf. And his sister in high school, she took even the final exams on his behalf. And he passed without even knowing anything. And the teacher, the instructor of the course, didn't know it. The instructors also said some students cheated on tests. The infrastructure was inefficient, and they had problems with the internet. The internet connection was slow because, you know, everybody went online at the same time. Hundreds of thousands, even millions of students, they went online. Okay, from now on, I'm going to talk about the strategies that teachers can use to overcome the problems that I mentioned when they teach online. Now, I would like to say something. Unlike you, I don't have a degree, a PhD in technology or in computer science. What I know about technology, I learned from experience. Technology is like cooking or like swimming. You don't learn swimming and cooking by reading a book and memorizing a book. You need to practice. You learn by doing. And I've been practicing and using technology for 20 years. So the first strategy is good infrastructure and also good internet connection. Now, when I was preparing this presentation, I had Indian students in my mind. And I thought that maybe some Indian students, they do not have computers, they don't have internet access. And I was thinking how we can help those. So if some students do not have computers, do not have internet access, we should have some alternatives for them. For example, they can use the school facilities. They can borrow a computer from their school. They can find computers and internet connection within their family or neighbors. They can use the community resources, such as the public library. If the public library has terminals and has internet connection, the teacher can give projects, group projects, can assign students into small groups consisting of some students who have computers and internet access, and those who do not, they can share, but they should wear a mask and keep their distance a little bit. For example, during the COVID-19 pandemic, when it started, I was watching different TV stations from different Arab countries. For example, in Jordan, the Ministry of Education set up caravans or mobile homes in remote areas with computers and internet access, and students in the desert and in remote villages, they could use those to attend classes. Computer companies, large companies, businessmen can donate computers either to schools or students who do not possess computers. Also in Jordan and even in Saudi Arabia, lessons are broadcast to students on TV. No need for a special channel. Lessons can be broadcast through the sports channel. So they had a schedule, for example, in Jordan, they were broadcasting lessons for the different grade levels, especially 12th grade, because that's a very important year. Students go to the university after that. So they were using the sports channel to broadcast lessons, and they had like a schedule. And they would see a teacher in front of them with like a board and everything, and the teacher would be delivering the lesson. Okay, now strategy number 3 is selecting a platform. Here I'm going to give you just a variety of platforms, top free learning management systems and platforms for the year 2020. I cannot and do not claim that I know all of those and I have tried all of those. I only tried the ones in red. For example, I tried Moodle, Sakai before, Google Classroom. I'm familiar with Google Classroom, with Adobe Connect, with Coursera, with IQ, Blackboard, because we have a subscription at King Saud University with Blackboard, WebEx, Zoom, Facebook also. Facebook has all the tools of a learning management system. YouTube, you can broadcast lectures through YouTube like what we're doing now. Also, Skype, GoToMeeting, Vimeo can be used for web conferencing. Nowadays, many universities use Microsoft Teams and Google Meet. I used Periscope, which is connected to Twitter. You can use Facebook because everybody can use Facebook. It has all the tools of a learning management system. You can use Illuminate. Illuminate is part of Blackboard. This is a web conferencing software. You can use Skype. You can use WhatsApp and Telegram, or Telegram for communicating with the students. You do not have to use all of those and be familiar with all of them. Just select one. Okay, strategy number 4 is practicing using the platform. Try to use a free platform. Try the platform before you go online and use it. Get to know the design, the different tools in the platform, how to turn the video, the audio on, how to upload material such as PPTs, how to share the screen, how to use the online chat. And also, sometimes there are issues like problems, like we had last session, for example, a problem with the audio or some noise. I heard it a couple of minutes ago. So we try to solve the issues that occur with the platform. You can seek help from colleagues who are good at using the platform, because some instructors are excellent, some are new, or they are apprehensive of using technology. So instructors can help each other. Do not use many platforms. Just try one platform per semester. And also, you can provide help to the students and train them if they have problems. Now, the 5th strategy is supplementing the platform. Any platform is not perfect. You need to use additional things to make up for the deficiencies in the platform. so that in total you have everything that you have in the face-to-face classroom. You can supplement the platform with a blog, with a wiki, with podcasts, with an online discussion forum, with mobile apps, with a Facebook or a Twitter page, with Telegram, with WhatsApp, with hyperdocs. And hyperdocs are digital lesson plans, and or with Padlet. And Padlet is like paper for your screen. You can start with an empty page and then put whatever you like on it. When you use technology, always remember that technology does not teach by itself. And if you use technology, it does not make learning and skill development automatic. It depends on how we use it. If we use it well, then the results would be learning outcomes would be excellent, even face-to-face, if we or lecturing. If we use it well, we take into consideration theories of learning, then the learning outcomes would be excellent. If we don't, the lessons would be boring. Similarly, technology. If you leave the students on their own, they will not do anything. Students should not use the technology passively. They should have something to do, questions to answer, a task to do. Try the platform and its tools before using it with students. Now, I've been using, let's say, Zoom or Cisco or Microsoft Teams for conferences. And every time I have a conference, I try it before, especially screen sharing. I try screen sharing before I go online, so that if there are problems, I find a solution for those problems. Also try the apps, the PPTs, the videos, the websites before you assign them to the students. Now, strategy number 6 is orientation, training, and support. And here we have two types. We have technical training and support and instructional training and support. The university, when the university asks everybody to go online, to use distance learning and teaching, the university should give the students and teachers an idea about distance learning, some kind of orientation, and should train students to teach, to use the platform, because it's not a matter of directive or like an order from the ministry. It does not mean that all teachers, all students are competent in using technology. It provides also technical supports so that they help when teachers have a problem and help with technical problems. And also you can use peer training. Colleagues can train each other. As far as instructional training support is concerned, of course, teachers need to learn how to select and design online material, and how to prepare and administer online tests, how to communicate with students and respond to their questions. Also peer training, even in instructional material and tests. And team teaching can be used. Team teaching here, 2 people can teach together, or they can take turns in teaching, and also sharing resources by the different colleagues. The 7th strategy is telling the students about online class logistics. Now, our students, they were not interested, and they would sleep and miss class. This is because they did not know the rules. Nobody set rules for them, class management rules. Okay, so the first day of online classes, what you do, you give the students the online class rules regarding attendance, attending, missing classes, missing exams, assignments, deadlines, and also, because they care about marks and grades, tell them about the distribution of course marks. Are you going to give marks to class participation, to attendance, to homework? to exams, tell them also about exams, because to them this is the most important thing. How many exams you're going to give them, the types of exams, how are you going to distribute the marks. Also, give them a quick idea about teaching techniques, about the resources you're going to use, online communication, how you can communicate with them, how can they ask you questions if they don't like to write questions, for example, in the chat box, because some are shy. Also, it's very important to make online learning part of the course grade. If it's not part of the course marks, students, especially Saudi students, they will not take it seriously. They will not work. They only work for marks. Now, strategy number 8, select online course, how to select online course material and resources. You can supplement the content of the course with online videos, with online newspaper articles, with news reports, with internet websites, with online magazines. Also, there are some websites like the UNICEF, the World Health Organization, CNN, BBC, RT, Al Jazeera. They have articles, they have videos that are very useful for the students, especially when you teach language. Also, the mobile has hundreds and thousands of apps that are useful for students, and they can be used and integrated in the courses. You can also integrate or recommend some online specialized dictionaries for the students. You can upload and share PDFs, PowerPoints, audio, video files. The students also can take part in searching or bringing up what they like searching for videos, for statistics, for daily news, for articles, for pictures. It does not mean that you have to use all of those in one class or in one semester. I'm giving you most of the options, and you pick and choose from these what's useful for a particular skill, for example, for a particular topic. Now, strategy number 9 is integrating global issues and participation goals. Now, one problem with courses is that they are remote from what's going on in the world, what's going on around the students. What students study in class is something, and what's outside the classroom is something else. We want to bring the whole world to the classroom, what's going on outside also to the classroom, and make it part of the learning process. For example, the teacher can integrate global themes and current issues such as COVID-19 daily news, COVID-19 country statistics, COVID-19 causes, treatment, prevention, how people work and study, daily life, people's daily life during the COVID-19 pandemic, and COVID-19's effect on the economy, on politics, society, education, health, culture, tourism, the environment, and other issues, whichever issue you'd like. By participation goals, I mean students should be involved in social, educational, health, political, technological problems. They can describe an issue, a problem, an event, diagnose the problem, propose a solution. When we select an issue, an event, a problem, select issues with which the students are familiar and to which the students can relate. Don't select abstract stuff, because the students would be having two difficulties: the difficulty of language itself, the vocabulary and the grammar, and also the difficulty of the information, the topic. If they don't have ideas, how are they gonna, for example, write an essay or speak about a topic? So if we use like familiar topics of interest to the students that they like, then they will be able to talk about those, write about them. Give a context. Don't give a very broad topic. Make it specific, make it focused and limited. Ask for just some details, a few causes, few solutions. Personalize the topic. Have the students talk about the topic as they see it, what they think about it. So, and give a context or situation. I will give an example later on. Okay, now I'm gonna move on to practicing. The 10th strategy is practicing a variety of language skills, since my presentation is about teaching English. We can practice different kinds of language skills online, exactly like face-to-face in the classroom. Students can practice listening, speaking, reading, writing, pronunciation, vocabulary, grammar. To practice listening, the teacher and the students can listen to the news, watch online videos or podcasts. They can summarize the content. They can also answer comprehension questions. They can talk about COVID-19 topics. They can search a topic, watch a video, and then talk about it in class. They can read also about COVID-19 topics, answer comprehension questions about the text, make an outline of the main ideas and the important details in the text, or summarize the text. They can write about COVID-19 topics, such as reports, summaries, keep a journal, daily journal. This is very important because the students will be writing about what they know. Also, they can practice writing an academic essay consisting of 1 paragraph, 5 paragraphs, or they can write a term paper, a group project. Also, the teacher can choose some of those, not all of them. It's impossible to do everything, all of these in one semester or in 1 week. Now, pronunciation, students can also practice pronunciation, whether decoding when the word is written down or orally. They can practice connecting graphemes with phonemes, phonics, that's pronunciation rules, stress, assimilation, elision, intonation, all issues related to pronunciation. Also, they can learn vocabulary, but in context. They can learn about prefixes, suffixes, roots, how to break words into their components, such as the words epidemic, endemic, pandemic, lockdown, outbreak, and so on. If they are reading, they can infer meaning from context. If focus is on a productive skill, such as speaking or writing, then you need to pre-teach vocabulary that the students are going to use when they speak or when they write. Same thing, teach grammar in context. You can teach tenses or complex tenses, passive voice, any structure, but teach it in context. For example, through the reading passage. Now here I come to the different teaching techniques that the teacher can use with the students. Of course, since we are teaching online, it's very boring and the students will sleep and they would not be interested in the lecture. If the teacher speaks for 50 minutes and the students just sit like this and watch and listen like they do in the classroom, Now, teaching online is different. I even use these when I teach face-to-face. Now, the strategies I'm mentioning, most of them, they are also applicable in the classroom face-to-face, or if we use technology. So the teacher can use, it's very easy to prepare a PowerPoint presentation. At least the teacher should prepare a PowerPoint presentation. We can use the flipped classroom technique, or the students can work on a project, or we can use problem solving, role playing. Students can give oral presentations, they can read and write reports, they can conduct interviews and come and talk about the interviews in the classroom, or write about them, write an essay about the interview. The teacher can use flowcharts to connect information. The teacher can also invite a speaker online. If they are on Zoom, you can invite 100 people, no problem. Also, we can use team teaching. 2 instructors or more can teach together. Also, experiential learning. Experiential learning, it means learning that depends on or based on students' experiences, students' prior knowledge, students' background knowledge. Also, students can write a daily journal. This would be very interesting because they would be writing about things that happened to them, they saw, they heard every day. So they would be practicing writing without feeling that they are writing. They won't feel it's a chore. The students can work individually. They can work in pairs, even if they are in different places. Each is in his or her home. And they also can work in small groups or teams. Now, the assignments and the activities should not focus on rote memorization and recall, like we do face-to-face. Even for face-to-face, the assignments and activities should not focus on rote memorization and recall. Assignments should focus on critical thinking, application, transfer to new situations, and so on, higher level thinking skills. Do not allow students to copy and paste. Sometimes they copy and paste without even reading the article or knowing what's in it. At least they should summarize it. They should give their opinion, critique the article, their opinion of the ideas in the article. A focus also should be on students' engagement and active role in the teaching learning process. After presenting the new material or the new skill, use guided practice online under your supervision with feedback right after presenting the new material. And use independent practice at home. Here, students practice, they do the exercises on their own. Give a clear, direct, detailed instruction. If the students, they don't know what to do, they don't understand the instructions, they will not perform the task well or the way they should. When you give a project, give a presentation, give an assignment, give a term paper, usually teachers, or some of them, assume that the students, they know how to do it. We should not leave the students, they should not work on their own. We should guide them throughout the process, even when they are PhD students. Usually supervisors, they leave them on their own to do the thesis, and they have problems, they have questions. They don't know how to do this, how to do that. And the supervisor expects them to know everything. For example, you can give questions and ask the students to find answers online. They can analyze, they can compare, they can fill in a table. You may give statistics, for example, and ask students to make a graph. let's say COVID-19 statistics, daily statistics, and ask students to make a graph or a flow chart. The students can prepare questions and conduct an interview. They can search a topic, read and give a class presentation about it, and the students' classmates, they can ask questions and also make comments and even evaluate the presentation. Now, it's very important when we teach, no matter what we teach. We teach psychology, we teach sociology, we teach medicine, we teach engineering. We need to connect information, summarize information, show relationships among ideas and information, the content that we teach to the students. So the best way to do that is to use graphic organizers, and Microsoft Word and Microsoft PowerPoint, they can, for example, do like this pyramid, inverted pyramid, circles like these, or a pie graph like this one, or like this, or like this. So they are already there. You only need to fill the information inside. I have more examples from the UNICEF website about topics that students can read. For example, now the UNICEF website has videos, has topics, has articles that we can look at and then select some for the students to watch and read. Now, some of the titles, Georgia faces its lead problem head-on and heading back to school in the pandemic and coping with COVID-19. Coronavirus disease, what parents should know. How to talk to your children about bullying, measles, explain, and child marriage around the world infographic. Here more from UNICEF website. These are articles, gender equity, kids video diaries about life during COVID-19. This is very interesting because they bring a child from Burma, from South Africa, from Nigeria, from Egypt, and they talk about their daily life in just a couple of minutes during the COVID-19 pandemic. Child marriage, how Wuhan went from quiet streets to packed pools, what are the rules in France and other parts of the world, of Europe, why Spain is seeing a second COVID wave. Okay, we can also give them a picture. I selected just few here. We don't give them all these in one session, just one or two, and they can choose to talk about this one or this one. So they can examine these pictures and then talk about them orally to practice speaking, or they can write a paragraph, half a page, 1 page about them, about what they see, and they generate ideas. They come up with their own ideas, with their own interpretation and description of the pictures. This one about forest fires, and this one in the middle, no justice, no peace, about the protests in America. And then COVID-19, this is the Grand Mosque in Mecca, Al-Haram. It was empty because they locked it. People were not allowed to go and pray inside for several months. Okay, here I have examples of videos. I got those, I selected them from the UNICEF website, from BBC, from CNN. They are very interesting. When you select, unfortunately, I cannot play any of them because I'm afraid of technical problems, and the other thing because of the time. When you select a video, you should pay attention to the video content, the theme, the length of the video. It's long, it's 2 minutes, 3 minutes. The speed of the speaker, sometimes the speaker speaks very fast and the students will not be able to follow and understand. And also you should select a topic that is of interest to the students. You
Okay,
may.
madam, a gentle reminder that you have 5 more minutes.
Oh, okay.
To go. Yeah,
Okay.
thank you. Thank you.
Okay. I have examples here of role playing. For example, if you were the Minister of Health, give 5 actions that you would take to reduce corona cases. How can you convince people to stay home, wear a mask, keep social distance? Okay, here I have a sample reading text, and I have highlighted, for example, the main ideas and some vocabulary items, some place names, some conjunctions, words, for example, like scientist, specialist, to teach suffixes, and some words also to teach pronunciation. Same thing here. These are the components of the reading text. And then after reading the passage, we can summarize the content of the passage. This is paragraph A, B, C, D. And then the introduction and the regions and why. Here, just the main ideas of each paragraph. We can present also the structure of the passage in a table. This can be empty. We just give them this, the regions, where, examples, characteristics, and then on the left, the paragraphs, and then the students fill in, they fill the chart. There are 3 instructional stages before the task and during and task phase, pre-task phase, and then post-task phase. In the pre-task phase, the teacher searches for the material, posts a task and sets goals and gives pre-questions, sets a deadline, give them time limit. The students then in the task phase, they work on the task, and also the teacher provides help and guidance. After the task, the students discuss and answer questions or talk about difficulties, and the teacher gives feedback. The students also give feedback to each other. Now, strategy number 13 is given communicative feedback. Do not correct students' error in public because that's embarrassing for them. When you give feedback about errors, just tell them the type of error, the location of error, and the students have to correct their mistakes on their own. You can correct the mistakes indirectly, and students can also correct each other's mistakes. Always give positive reinforcement and praise and commend the slightest improvement. Now I move on to the online classroom community or environment. Should be respectful, friendly. There should be sense of humor, should be fun, supportive, interactive, secure for making mistakes. Focus should be on student engagement. You can send motivational messages. You can give extra credit for the students. You can contact the students through WhatsApp, Telegram, email, Facebook Messenger, or any other tool or technology. Another strategy, this is for effective online testing. When the students take a test, have them turn their camera on. Do not give memorization and recall questions. Give application and higher level questions. Do not give the same set of questions to all the students. Give different sets of questions. You can use different forms of assessment, not necessarily the same way like face-to-face. They can, instead of giving a final exam, they can write a research paper, a project, or give an online presentation. And assessments should be formative throughout the semester, not only one exam at the end of the semester. Now, the instructor's role in all of this, online instruction should be student-centered, and the instructor is a facilitator. The instructor gives guidance, support, feedback, encourages the students, selects the material. It's important to set time aside to respond to the students. You can browse through the questions and the problems, Group them and give one response to similar repetitive questions. Online teaching is tedious and time-consuming, but gets easier with practice. Sharing, collaborating with colleagues makes online teaching easier. You cannot prepare for the whole semester. It's better and a lot easier and time-consuming, less time-consuming to prepare on a weekly basis. And then the following semester, everything would be ready. Also, it's important to receive feedback on our teaching from students. You can keep a log of the problems and difficulties. The students also can tell you whether they understand, they like this, they like that, they hate this, they hate that. Your colleagues can evaluate you. It's important that the university or the college make online teaching part of teachers' evaluation. They can also have a contest among teachers for the best online course and online material, and colleagues can talk about their experiences. Finally, we can establish a committee or a center for technical and instructional support. We can also have a resource center or a repository for instructional videos, mobile apps, activities, technical guides, testing guides for teachers to use. And also, I recommend that colleagues, they share their experiences and course material. With this, I come to the end of my presentation. I have a YouTube channel, and on in my channel, I post lectures on how to teach this or that, or some of my conference presentations which teachers might find useful. Now, whatever I talked about in this presentation, I use with my students. Yes. Everything is tried on. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you, Professor Rima, for a very timely reflection on a very contemporary issue of online teaching. We have few questions coming up waiting for you in the chat room. One question number one is that what would be the dividing line between the conventional classroom teaching and open and distance learning with the advent of ICT in education in the days to come? It's a question, futuristic question.
Okay. Of course, since we live in the age of technology and the students even live in the age of technology, most students, even little ones, even children, they have a mobile phone, they browse the mobile phone all the time, they can use different things, Facebook and apps and this and that, games. So it's inevitable. In my opinion, the best choice is to use blended learning. We can continue to teach in the classroom, but we can also integrate technology in addition to the textbook and to what we do in the classroom. So we supplement. We call this blended learning. In order to make use of the advantages of both modes, face-to-face and also technology. So it's a must. It's no longer like up to us because it's there already. And now with Corona, everybody was forced to work online. Everybody was forced to study online. We had no choice. Whether we like technology or not, we were forced to go online and teach. Even small children, first grade, second grade, they all work online or watch TV, watch lessons on TV. So it's inevitable. But if we go back to the classroom, the best thing is to use both. Continue to use the textbook, but you have to supplement the textbook with some of the things that I mentioned. Okay, next question. I can't hear.
Prashant, you're mute. Prashant, you're mute. Please unmute yourself.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, you want me to unmute?
So that question was from Dr. Santosh Rathod. Hope Santosh Rathod you answered. So she advocates a kind of a blended learning. Now, next question is that Does the new kind of learning make the teachers technology dependent?
No, because as I said, you cannot just tell the students, okay, go watch some videos on YouTube or go select some videos. Students, they are still dependent psychologically, dependent on the teacher. They need to be told what to do, which one. Like your children, you cannot just leave them on their own and tell them, okay, go have dinner, go make up your room. If you don't supervise them, you don't give them guidance, you don't help them, they will not make the best out of the technology. So the teacher never loses his or her role, but the role of the teacher is different in when the teacher uses technology. And I mentioned what the teacher will be doing. The teacher would be a facilitator, a guide. The teacher would recommend certain videos, would prepare questions, would prepare activities for the students to work on, would be following up the students, would be guiding the students and helping them while they are working on the activity or task with a particular technology or a particular resource, internet resource.
Yeah, thank you. And the next question is that, see, in a regular classroom, in a conventional classroom, you have eye contact with all the students.
Yes.
Now, does this lack of eye contact would somehow affect the quality of teaching or learning or even communication?
I don't think so, because some students are even shy to speak directly in front of their classmates or their teacher. So they have the courage to talk online because they feel they are invisible. Nobody is watching them. Although, of course, everybody is watching them. It is true that eye contact is important, but still we can make up for this through messages that we send, through like communication on nowadays. We all use smileys and we use words and flowers and this and that when we send messages. So these will make up a little bit for eye contact, and even facial expressions, they can be seen on the screen. Now I'm using my hands, and so you can see me, or smiling or frowning. You can see me. And if the students turn their cameras on, I can also see their faces. So we can make up for eye contact and gestures and all of these with messages, whether group messages. I send one group to all of them, like good morning, and they say good morning. And then I can even send contact individual students, either in private or in public.
Yeah, thank you.
But
And the last question.
okay.
Yeah, last question is that we were talking about teacher-centric methods. Then we shifted to student-centric methods. Now the COVID has created a new contact called the technology-centric method. So how do you look at this change from student-centric method to technology-centric method?
No, I think with all teaching modes, still focus should be on the student. Whether we are using a traditional face-to-face or we are using technology, because the technology is not the one that's learning. The purpose is not the technology. Our aim is the students. Everything is directed and towards the students. So still, even when we use technology, focus should be on the students. The students should be engaged, should have an active role in learning. Still, even online, they should be answering questions, they should be giving presentations, they should be reading, they should be speaking, they should be doing everything, answering questions. They even can bring their websites, like they bring, for example, a book to the classroom and show it to you and ask you, can I read this? Do you think this is good for me? They can do the same thing. Select apps, select videos, and I used to do that. Use student suggestions. When I taught interpreting, and of course, I taught interpreting in a lab, the first week of classes, I would ask the students to bring their own text from magazines, from newspapers, and every week I would use the students' text, select from the text, and use text, select ones from what the students brought to me, in addition to my own text. But the majority of texts I used in the classroom were the ones that the students brought to me. And we would be interpreting and working on those in the lab. Because students would be more interested if you use their own material and appreciate what they bring to you and show them it's important. Their input is very important. So it's never technology based. I think it should be always student centered and student based.
Yeah. Thank you. We have 1 more minute. So what is your final message to English teachers?
Well, my final message is to be patient, not to be scared of technology, and also just look at it as a game. Look at it as cooking. If you don't know, you learn cooking by doing. You don't learn it from a book. Similarly, technology. You should not be scared of it. Just click on it, open it, look at this, look at that, open this, open that, and then go to those websites. It's like when you want, for example, to look for a recipe online, or you want to look for something. You can do the same thing if you want to look for resources. You just enter keywords in Google and you will get a lot. You enter just keywords in YouTube and you will get a lot. So what you do, you